I give you 48 hours to bring the money. Else water go pass Gary for your beloved.
We will pay millions. You have 48 hours. If we don't see the money, bang! He fired a shot into the air, the deafening sound piercing through the call. Then you will never see her again. The line went dead. Far away, Nancy's father collapsed, clutching his chest, gasping for air. The mother was screaming too. Inside the mansion, Nancy wept uncontrollably. But her nightmare was only just beginning. The men untied her from the chair and escorted her into a wide, dimly lit corner of another room. There, seated at a blood-stained table, was a huge, heavy-set man. His hands were busy, not with food, but with horror. Nancy's eyes widened in terror. Spread before him were strange remains, carefully separated into disturbing piles, as though they were nothing but merchandise. The man barely looked up, his hands steady as he walked the blade, slicing through the meat with chilling precision. One of the kidnappers leaned close to Nancy's ear, his breath hot and foul. "You see, celebrity vendor, if your poor family cannot pay the ransom, one way or the other, you will make us rich." He laughed wickedly, the sound echoing like a death sentence. Nancy screamed, but her voice was drowned in the darkness of that cursed mansion. They shoved her back into the hall, where the other captives sat, silent, broken, hopeless. Each face carried the same question: who will be next? Nancy trembled, her heart pounding. She now knew the truth. This was not just a hideout, it was a slaughterhouse. Nancy's parents were thrown into a state of confusion. Fear gripped their hearts like a vice. They sat, hands trembling, unable to think straight. Should they involve the police? The thought crossed their minds, but the kidnappers' warning echoed louder in their heads. If they dared involve security, it could cost Nancy her life. In desperation, they turned to relatives, friends, and even their local church. Tearful pleas were made, donations requested, and prayers lifted day and night. They created awareness on social media, hoping that somehow someone would come to their aid, but time was not on their side. 48 hours later, the phone rang again. Nancy's father's hands shook so violently, he almost dropped it. He pressed it to his ear, his voice cracking. "Please, we beg you, give us more time. We are trying." On the other end, a cold, mocking laugh echoed. "Time?" The man sneered. "Do you think this is a game?" At that very moment, Nancy's captors dragged two young women who had been held captive alongside her towards the dreaded slaughter room. Nancy's eyes widened with terror as she realized what was about to happen. The heavy steel door slammed shut. Seconds later, the air was split by a scream, shrill, piercing, and filled with unimaginable agony. Nancy's body froze. She shook uncontrollably, as though her very soul was about to leave her body. The man on the phone waited until the last echoes of the scream died down. Then, in a chilling voice, he said, "Did you hear that? If you don't comply, that's exactly how your precious daughter will scream in the next 24 hours. And forget about ever setting eyes on her again. We don't waste merchandise." He ended the call. Silence filled the room where Nancy's parents sat. Her mother collapsed into tears, clutching her chest. They didn't know their next line of action. All they knew was that time was slipping away like sand in their fingers. Finally, they reached a painful conclusion. They would sell everything, every last possession, even their remaining land, if it meant saving their daughter's life. Meanwhile, in the mansion of death, Nancy sat among the other trembling captives. Her eyes darted toward the slaughter room, where fresh blood trickled slowly under the door. The sound of the scream still rang in her ears, and for the first time since her capture, she whispered in despair, "God, is this the end for me?" In that evil mansion, the nightmare never ended.